Before the heavy machinery tore through South Los Angeles, the borders were soft, painted in the invisible language of local sidewalks and familiar avenues. In the late 1960s, young men walked down Imperial Highway, or 117th Street, navigating unspoken agreements forged over generations. Neighborhoods were connected by contiguous residential grids where every porch had eyes and every alley was known. But that organic geography was about to be obliterated by thousands of tons of concrete and rebar. The decision did not originate on the streets, but in cold, air-conditioned offices far from the communities that would bear the cost. Urban planning executives and state officials drew a straight line across the map of South Los Angeles, designating the corridor for the Century Freeway, known formally as Interstate 105. On paper, it was presented as a high-speed artery connecting El Segundo to Norwalk. In practice, treating infrastructure as a knife, it was a social engineering project that would permanently carve up the urban landscape. First proposed in 1956, the project sat stagnant for decades due to furious legal challenges and community opposition. As civil rights lawsuits dragged through federal courts, the state began acquiring property through eminent domain across South Los Angeles. Long before the first tractor arrived, the shadow of displacement hung over working-class families. Entire housing tracts were condemned, boarded up, and left to rot, creating artificial blights long before the actual trench was dug. When full construction finally took hold, the scale of destruction was staggering. More than 25,000 residents were uprooted, forced to abandon homes, churches, and small businesses that had anchored the black and brown working class for decades. Whole blocks disappeared from the city directory. What remained was a raw, dusty canyon cutting east to west, a physical void that severed long-standing residential networks and scattered tight-knit families across the basin. This massive physical scar altered the natural flow of daily life. Streets that had once connected neighborhoods were abruptly dead-ended into high chain-link fences and dirt mounds. A walk to the local market or elementary school that once took 3 minutes now required a winding trek around massive construction pits. By severing the grid, urban planning stripped away the casual, daily contact between neighboring blocks, creating isolated enclaves surrounded by industrial wasteland. For those who stayed, the physical environment turned hostile. Towering gray sound walls, 20 feet tall, rose alongside the excavated trench, blocking sunlight and casting deep shadows over residential lawns. Houses that once looked across tree-lined avenues now faced sheer walls of cold concrete. The neighborhood was effectively boxed in, cut off from municipal investment, and left to adjust to a claustrophobic new reality defined by heavy dust and constant diesel noise. As the physical landscape fractured, the street politics of South Los Angeles shifted rapidly to match the new terrain. Local sets that had previously shared flexible or fluid territorial limits found themselves separated by an uncrossable divide. The giant ditch acted as a permanent boundary line, forcing street organizations to remap their strongholds. What had been a single unified neighborhood was now divided into north and south factions, each adapting to its newly imposed borders. Treating infrastructure as a passive utility ignores the cold mechanics of power embedded in urban development. The placement of the 105 freeway was not an accident of geography, but a political choice that routed noise, pollution, and isolation directly through disenfranchised neighborhoods. While affluent suburbs successfully fought off freeway expansion, South Los Angeles was forced to absorb the physical burden, proving once again that in the land of no pity, political vulnerability dictates where the concrete falls. Throughout the 1980s, construction dragged on, turning the center of South Los Angeles into an open industrial zone. Heavy cranes, earth movers, and massive concrete pillars dominated the skyline alongside growing street violence. As the city experienced unprecedented social friction, the physical chaos of the freeway construction provided cover in chaos. The open trenches and half-built overpasses became uncharted territory, unpoliced terrain where young men established new rules